Chicken and sweetbread patty. Sweetbread. Is that the pancreas? Sweetbread. Yeah. I think that's disgusting.
Well, if you got a dollar, well, just louse it down. Know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine.
Hey, this is Patrick with Trusty Extra Mercantile. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to another mini preview, well, not really preview, mini review of some additions to my personal collection. I do these off and on, and to be perfectly honest, it's one of these cases where I fall into spurts where I add to my personal collections, and I've really slowed things down. I'm looking to be moving relatively soon, so I'm already kind of overwhelmed by what I'm going to have to do with all my current collections. And it's always quality over quantity. So I've been even thinning out, for those who are paying really close attention, I've been thinning out some of my stoneware collection because I just, I don't need to build things. I'm getting older. What am I going to do with all this stuff? There's one collection that I keep building, and it is my menu collection. And my goal is to have a menu that represents every day of a calendar year from so 365 menus that are dated from prior to my birth. I originally was trying to do this prior to World War II, and there's no real reason for that other than I just like them being older. But I'm old enough, so I just started doing things based on my birth year of 1970, and it opened up quite a few. So I ended up adding quite a few menus to my collection. And not really going to be a deep dive, although I will cover some things as I go through them. But I just find these absolutely fascinating. Not only the era, the types of cruise ships that were available, but then also the menus, the food that were available. And since I am engaged to an absolute foodie, I'm hoping at some point there will be an opportunity to recreate some of these menus. So at this point, I don't have any months that I've completed, but I have about 100 menus in my collection, and I'm adding all of these. So working my way through the calendar, I'm not quite buying for specific dates yet. I've got a list of every ship that I have. I've got both the cruise line and then the actual name of the ship and every date that I have. So I'm always looking to fill missing dates. But when I can, I still want to, buy them inexpensively. So I was able to pick up a collection of menus. These are all from the Alaska line, and I got a really good price for these. I'm pretty sure all of these came from eBay. And I got into this, I don't want to say rut because it's not really negative, but I just got into this where I've got extra money. I'm going to blow it on ephemera. So I bought a whole bunch of these. Several of them were duplicates of dates I already have. So I'm going to be reselling those in my booth because the menus seem to sell pretty well at my booth. But these are the three that I'm keeping, and they are dated from March of 1934 and August of 1933. So we've got some great age on these. And I've had some of these in the past. I've sold some too. They've got great art on the back. And then what I really like about these is when I display them, because I've got probably a couple dozen of them framed, you can see the menu. Like the food is already available. So this is the August 15th, 1933. It was the Ohio Farmer New England Homestead Alaska Tour. No big shock. It's the Alaska line from Seattle, Washington. But this is the breakfast menu. So you can see they served applesauce, tomato juice, rhubarb sauce. Not exactly sure what that would be. Maybe it's like more of a jam. Shredded wheat biscuits, grape nuts, Kellogg's bran, fried salmon trout with sliced lemon. Eggs to order, dried and buttered toast. Please refrain from smoking. This one, because breakfast, relatively standard fare. But then we also have the March 1934 dinner, different artwork on the back, same style. They're all from the SS Victoria. But this one, dinner included iced celery, New England clam chowder, boiled brisket of beef with horseradish, succotash, Brussels sprouts, steamed date pudding with caramel sauce, lemon meringue pie, Washington apples, and California oranges. So not as creative, maybe because it's Alaska, maybe because it's an American plain omelet, another breakfast menu. But let's move into the German menu. So this is from the Swedish American line. The ship is called the Kungsholm, and you can see on the back, Svenska Amerika Linjen, Swedish American line. I actually had a menu from this line before, but this is a different date. This was March 20th, 1937. This was their West Indies cruise. And this is their luncheon menu. So we've got Mongol soup. No idea what that is. Soft-boiled eggs, Indian style. I need to research that. Filet of lemon sole mornay. Pork chops a la Robert with green peas. Chicken and sweetbread patty. Sweetbread. Is that the pancreas? Sweetbread. Yeah. I think that's disgusting. String beans, lima beans, kohlrabi. That vaguely rings a bell. Salads, lettuce, escarole, chicory, cucumber, chicken, beet, asparagus, salad dressing, French, Russian, cheese, and plaza dressing. Ice coupe, Duchess, pears a la Florentine, beignets souffle, Gorgonzola cheese, Swedish cheese, Swiss cheese, Stilton cheese. They had fruits were apples, oranges, pears, grapes, pineapples, bananas, and tangerines. And this was a March cruise. And this is actually what I started focusing on. These are all happen to be March. I'm struggling as I started building my list. I've got tons of menus and even some duplicates just because I like the artwork of the summer months. But when you get into the winter months, a lot of cruise lines did not sail. And so it's actually harder to find January, February, and even March menus. So picked up March. Related, this was a February menu, February 1950. So the breakfast menu from the Furnace line, Furnace Bermuda line on the Queen of Bermuda. And this is a QTEV ship. So there's SS, MS, TS, there's all types of abbreviations. So this is the QTEV. Also breakfast menu. I tend not to really care what kind of menu I pick up, but this is saute of ox kidney turbigo. I do not want that, but I am intrigued. Post toasties, crispies, Wheaties, cornflakes, grape nuts, bran flakes, shredded wheat, puffed rice, Wheatina. I just did a live sale with Scott earlier this evening. Pay really close attention. I'm wearing the same clothes. And we talked about Wheatina. I did not know it was a cereal. I thought it was a cracker or something. I had never heard of it. So Wheatina. So Furnace lines, I had that. This was a line I had not had. This was the Europe Canada line. And when I buy them, I try and have rules because otherwise I need to cut myself off somehow. So one of the things I like is I like to have the crew. If it doesn't show the menu all on one page, what I like, and I violated my own rule when I bought this one, but I just liked the art on this one. What I like is to be able to see the cruise line and the word menu, because the problem is when you frame something like this, it kind of looks like it's just a brochure for a ship. You don't know it's a menu. So I actually like when it says menu. And this one has a cool logo on the back of what the Europe Canada line looked like. This one's getting a little bit later. This is 1955. So this is the MS 7Cs. And this one is like, it's almost typed. It's very simple. Pineapple juice, bread, rolls, porridge. So it's obviously the breakfast menu. It lists the program of the day, which isn't common. They were doing horse racing, which was evidently a big thing in old ships. They did some sort of people would be the horses. Bingo, dancing, movies. They played the Desert Song. I don't know that movie. But then the food that was available all on July 6th, 1955 in tourist class. You could get stewed fruit, puffed wheat with milk, eggs to choice. I think somebody typoed. Coffee, tea, milk, or cocoa. Why do you want cocoa in July? But anyway, so we had that one. Holland America line, we have a lot. They were very prolific in making very attractive menus. So their menus tended to survive. People put them into souvenir, their scrapbooks and things like that. So this one's 1956. luncheon menu. This was on the RMS New Amsterdam tourist class. And then this one was also the same ship, but look at the difference in the art. So this was also 1956, but just, this was, what does it say? Oh, the Holland America line. But it's just like all of the art. You've got the lumberjack, you've got skiers, ice skaters, you've got lobsters and lighthouses, divers. So it's covering all, I'm assuming the Golden Gate Bridge, all kinds of landmarks all around for a Holland, Netherlands ship. This one is from the home lines. Check out the art. See, this is why I fell into these. I did a deep dive, now several years back with Dining at Sea with Sam from Dining at Sea. So I always blame Sam when I buy new menus. It's all his fault because I thought they were so cool and they have such great artistry. They look fantastic when they're framed. So this one has the ship name, says Gala Dinner. So it fits my rules. And then inside, this happens to be the gala dinner on the SS Homeric from 1958. Roast Vermont turkey with chestnut stuffing, broiled tenderloin steak with mushroom gravy, asparagus with French dressing, baked Alaska, Marquis de Pompadour Baume, Les Mignardises de Dame de l'Amérique. So Amérique was the name of the ship, so that was something custom, I guess. Basket of fresh and dry fruit, Haiti double mocha. Maybe that was a drink. Chilled vichyssoise, double consomme au sherry, imperial alligator soup. There's just fun menus. Canadian Pacific, 1962, the Empress of England. This one doesn't name the line, but if you recognize the logo, it's a German ship. But the name of the ship is on there, the TS Bremen. And I do have others from Bremen. But I loved this one because of the penguins on it. Raj and I have a thing for penguins. So this was 1964. And again, this is November. So again, we're at the end of the year. I think prior to finding some of these, I want to say I only had literally like 2 or 3 November menus. I just didn't have a lot of them. This one was another new one. The American Export Isbrinston Lines. Captain's Dinner. I'd never even heard of this line before. This was the first one. This was the SS Constitution, July 1965. So jumbo shrimp cocktail, rock Cornish game hen, roast baron of spring lab au rosemarine, fondant potatoes, heard of those, poached Florida red snapper, chambourtin, timbale of rice. So great if you're trying to recreate some of the menus or just look up what was food like. The older ones tend to be more interesting because in some cases they called food different things. Some of these are maybe more recreatable, Indian lamb curry and rice. So this was another one. I got these as a set primarily because I liked the artwork on these two. But it came with, I think, 5 or 6, and a bunch of them were like this. So the extras of these are going to go for sale. So these are all about the same period. I think they're all the same ship. They're all 1969. So we're cutting it just before this is the year before I was born. But the breakfast menu for the Grace line, another breakfast menu for the Grace line. And then this one's a little bit more boring, but it still fits my requirement. It says luncheon and it's got the Grace line on it. And it was the Caribbean South American cruise. This one is actually bilingual. I didn't actually show, some of them probably were bilingual and I didn't focus on that. We got Spanish and English. You can even practice your language skills. Premium hand steak, fresh lobster, sliced breast of turkey. Pretty straightforward. This one has little check marks that I think the husband and wife maybe kept track of what they ate. R and V, almost all, I think all the menus in the set had that. So I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I added 15 menus. I would say in general, not counting shipping, definitely they were all under $10. Most of them were under $10, including the shipping, because I just don't pay a lot for these. But you add them up, adds up to quite a bit of money. But tell me your favorites. I would say I do like this one a lot. There were two options from this cruise, and I picked this cover over the other one because I just liked the artwork on it. But I have to say, my favorite, even though it's not one of the older ones, gotta love the penguins. They're cute. So anyway, I guess this probably maybe this was a shallow dive. Maybe it didn't go as deep as I planned, but it's one of those cases. I love this collection. I love building the collection. I love keeping track of this collection. It's more of an administrative collection that I like doing, but I think they're fun and I like to be able to showcase them. So I do have a plan for as I build more and more. I do actually have an idea of how I'm going to use them. So stay tuned for that. But until then, hopefully this video is at least relatively short. I enjoyed seeing some of what I've added to my collection, and I'd love to hear what kind of collections you guys build yourselves. So thanks so much for watching the video. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Give me a good deal on something I can use. Make me an offer that I just can't refuse. When that sunrise in the morning and there's nothing there to do, will probably be the last time I see you. Woo-hoo! I hope I can abide by your area code, and I'm bound to wander down that endless road. Well, if I had a dime for every time I felt this way, you know I'd have $1 million and a couple bucks in change. Sure was nice to know you. Oh, maybe I'll catch you on a New York train. Or maybe I'll never see your face again.